I was spending so much time talking to people who probably would never become a customer or a client. I was spreading myself thin because I was trying to be everything for everyone. So I was getting burnt out. I was getting run down. I was wasting hours and hours and hours of doing free calls with people to try to get them to become a client. And what I realized is that I couldn't be everything to everyone. And after doing this for a few years, I realized like I'm wasting a lot of time and I'm costing myself a lot of money because I'm not clear on who my ideal clients are. You're listening to the Grind and Gratitude Show. Welcome to the Grind and Gratitude Show. If this is your first time tuning into the show, thank you so much. If you're an avid listener, then you already know I got a lot of love for you. My name is Danny Stone, also known as Coach Stone is in the building. I am a business speaking coach. I help entrepreneurs make more income, impact, and influence by learning how to speak and tell champion stories. And I'm super excited that you're here because, like always, I always want to bring you things that I think are valuable that are going to help you to move your business and your life forward. And a part of that is me being honest about my own challenges, my own ups and my own downs. And if you've been listening to the podcast, I'm very transparent in letting you know the things that are working for me and have worked for me and the things that haven't. And so in this episode, I really want to talk to you about 3 big mistakes that I made in my business that cost me tens of thousands, if not more, of dollars. And for me, I used to work in the corporate world. I used to manage training and do coaching. And I decided to transition into my own business many, many years ago. And I didn't really have a lot of mentors. And I didn't tap into a lot of people who are already doing what I was trying to do. And so I had to figure it out on my own. And I shouldn't say I had to figure it out on my own. I chose to figure it out on my own. And as a result, some things worked, but I made a lot of mistakes. And some of those mistakes cost me a lot of money. So I want to talk to you about some of these mistakes because maybe you can relate. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But the first mistake that I made that really cost me a lot of money was I wasn't clear on who I was serving. Like, I'm a coach, right? I wasn't clear on who my clients were. I thought everybody was my client. So I would go out and I would do life coaching and business coaching and career coaching and relationship coaching. And I would be mentoring and doing all of these things. And I was trying to be everything to everyone. And it just wasn't working. I was spending so much time talking to people who probably would never become a customer or a client. I was spreading myself thin because I was trying to be everything for everyone. So I was getting burnt out. I was getting run down. I was wasting hours and hours and hours of doing free calls with people to try to get them to become a client. And what I realized is that I couldn't be everything to everyone. And after doing this for a few years, I realized like I'm wasting a lot of time and I'm costing myself a lot of money because I'm not clear on who my ideal clients are. And I had this misconception that if I just serve everyone, if I just make everyone my client, then I can make a lot of money. And I was wrong. I was wrong. I could lose a lot of money by making that assumption that everybody's my client. And that's what happened. I just ended up losing a lot of time and money because I was talking to everyone instead of putting my time and attention into the people who were my ideal clients and who I could serve the most. And so for me, I had to get really clear on like who I was serving, what was I offering them, and that would help me down the road. That would help me to better communicate, to be speaking to people who are the potential customers and clients, people who really needed what I was offering. And so maybe you can relate. Maybe you're in the same boat. Maybe your products or your services you think are for everybody. Maybe you're trying to service and make everybody your client. And that was a big mistake that I made. And it took me a long time to kind of figure out why people weren't buying and why wasn't my message resonating with people and why weren't people kind of reaching out after I spoke to them to buy my services. I couldn't figure it out. And what I realized is that some people just aren't my customers. Like, I know it sounds so obvious, but in my mind, I thought, well, everybody needs coaching. Everybody needs to take control of their life in some area of their life. So everybody needs someone to kind of help guide them at some point in their life. And whether that's true or not, I'm not the person to be everything to everyone. And so I started to have to get clear about who I was serving and what my services were. And once I started to do that, my business started to take off. Once I realized that I am a business coach and I started to kind of really niche down into, I'm not just a business coach. I help business owners speak to make more impact, income, and influence. And I teach business owners how to speak, the stories to tell, really strategic stories to get into the hearts and the minds of potential customers so that they want to buy. I started learning that. And when I started going down that path and really getting niche about who my audience was, business owners, who've been in business for 2 to 3 years, who were kind of stagnant and they couldn't grow their business and can't land new customers. And they're tired of spending a lot of money on ads and not getting a return on their investment. And they're doing all the sales funnels, but they're not getting the results. Those are the people that I decided that I really wanted to help because I know what that's like. And I realized that by telling the right stories, by learning how to speak, by getting on other people's platforms, that is the fastest way to grow your business. That's the fastest, most efficient way, most cost-effective way to grow your business and get in front of people who want to buy from you. So once I started to figure that out, then my business took off because now I learned to communicate to the right people. I was no longer talking to everybody about everything. I was speaking to business owners about what I know, and that's how to speak and how to communicate and how to tell champion stories. So think about that for you. Think about that in your business. Are you trying to serve everyone? Are you trying to be everything to everyone? Who is your target audience? What do they want? What is their biggest pain point? How can you move them away from that pain into the pleasure and the joy and the happiness and the success that they want? That's something for you to think about. When I sat down and I thought about that and I really mapped it out, it just changed everything for me. My business took off. I started attracting clients, not chasing them. And that was a real shift for me. I stopped losing money. I stopped losing time because I was spending so much time and money talking to the wrong people. So that was the first mistake that I made. Let me know if you can relate to that. I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message on Instagram at I am Danny Stone. The second mistake that I made, and maybe you made this mistake, and it's kind of along the lines of like what I was just talking about, but I just wasn't making enough offers. And as coaches and consultants, especially, we want to help. We want to be of service to other people. We want to help people figure things out. We want to help them solve their problems. And if you're like me, and how I was just helping people. I was doing lots of free calls and people would do these, can I pick your brain sessions? I don't know if you've ever had that where people reach out to you and say, hey, I'd love to pick your brain, which is really getting free coaching. And so I was doing all of these things and having these free calls and master classes and going live and putting together free resources. And I was doing all of these things for free. And I just wasn't making an offer. I wasn't offering people the opportunity to work with me in a paid capacity. I wasn't selling them anything. I wasn't saying buy my coaching package. I wasn't saying buy my program, buy my books, buy my courses. I was just doing everything for free. And what I realized is that that was a huge mistake. It was costing me so much money because I was giving so much value to people. People would come back to me and be like, hey, Coach Stone, I tried that thing and it really worked and it helped me in my business. Hey, Coach Stone, thank you so much for that insight. I saw the big mistake that I was making and I fixed it. And I was giving people all of this value that I should have been charging for. And it took me a while to realize that, but I'm just somebody who loves to give. I love to help people succeed. I want to help people find that champion inside of them. And what I didn't realize is that I was actually doing myself and them a disservice. Because though I was giving away a lot of free information and some people were taking advantage of it, there was a lot of people who weren't doing anything with the information. They would take it and say, oh, thank you. They'd show up to all my free things. But they would never buy anything because I wasn't really making any offers. And then they weren't asking me, hey, can I hire you as my coach? Because I never really told people. So I wasn't extending that offer to people. But here's what I realized. People who pay attention. So when I started eventually offering paid coaching and services and programs, the results that people got was even more, was magnified, because once people put down money for a service or a product, they're going to enjoy it. They're going to take action. They're going to do something. And I noticed that. Once I started charging people, the results they were getting were magnified. They were doing the work. They were putting in the time because they had some quote unquote skin in the game. Once you pay for something, you have something in the game. And there's a difference between free and paid. Think about the things that you've ever received in your life for free. You valued them, right? I'm sure you appreciated them. But think of the things that you had to work really hard for in order to pay for those things. Yeah, I remember my first car. All of my friends had cars and I never had a car. And I was... they would let me use their cars and I was thankful for them letting me use their cars, but I wanted my own vehicle. And I remember I was working 3 jobs at the time to save up money to buy my first car. And it was a 1998 Grand Am, Pontiac Grand Am. That was my first car. And I'm telling you, to me, it could have been a Rolls Royce. I took such great care of that car. I was washing it every day. I was cleaning it. I was constantly just taking care of the vehicle because I worked really hard to get that vehicle. And though that car might not have been anything to anybody else, it was everything to me because I had to work so hard to get it. And I bought it with my own money. And that's kind of how clients feel. When clients pay for your products and your services, they're more likely to appreciate the value that you're giving them. And I didn't realize that. So I was running around giving people all of these things for free, not realizing that I was doing them a disservice, because the other thing on the other side of it is once somebody was paying for a service or a product, I put even more value and more time and more effort into making sure that it was going to help them to get the results. So they win and I win. So think about that in your business. Do you have products and services that you're not talking about? You have to learn to allow people to go deeper with you, especially if you're a coach or a consultant. You have to let people know, like, here's how I can help you, and extend that offer to them. And if you sell products, what other products do you have that people may want to buy? Don't hide them. Let them know. Talk about it on social media. Send them emails. Anytime that you get on a stage or a platform, make sure that you let people know. And once I started making those offers, it helped me to transform my business. Because now I'm making offers. People are saying, hey, they're buying my books. They're buying my courses. They're buying my products. They're hiring me for coaching. They're hiring me to come and speak at their organizations. And that's what happens when you extend yourself. When you let people know, hey, I'm not just out here talking about something. I actually have courses and programs and products and services to help you. So think about that in your own business. Are you leaving money on the table because you're just not asking people to go deeper with you? Because you're not extending an offer? Because you're not selling them anything? And look, I know I'm not the person who loves to sell either, but I had to change my mindset around selling. Selling is you adding something of value to a potential customer that they need or they want. And so when you look at it from that perspective, the only way they can know about that product or that service is if you tell them. So you have to learn to let them know, hey, I can help you, and this is how I can help you. Is this making sense to you? I hope it's not just me, right? I hope it's not just me. So it's about making those offers, right? It's about making the offers. That was a mistake that I made in my business. I just wasn't selling enough. I wasn't making enough offers. The third mistake that I made that cost me thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in my business was I didn't know how to communicate effectively and tell stories effectively to get into the hearts and minds of potential buyers. I didn't know. I didn't know anything about champion stories. And champion stories are strategic stories that you tell as a business owner that are going to make potential customers lean in and want to know more and then eventually buy from you. See, I didn't know anything about that. I wasn't really making offers, and then I would get up and I would speak and give people information and value and walk away. But I didn't understand that there is some strategy behind it. You have to tell strategic stories, your own story, the story of your business, client testimonials, the client journey. You are here and this is where you want to go, and I can help you get there. I didn't do any of that. I didn't know that. And because I didn't know that, I wasn't connecting with people on the way that I should have. And I left thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on the table. And what I eventually realized is this: the fastest way, most effective way, most cost-efficient way to grow your business is to learn how to tell champion stories and how to speak so that you can impact people. Because that's going to open up doors to get on other people's platforms. And that is the fastest way to grow your business. Once you know how to communicate clearly and concisely, this is what I do. What is your USP, unique selling proposition? That thing that makes you stand out from everybody else in your industry. That thing that makes you different. Why people should buy from you. What is that USP? Once you have that, and once you have these champion stories, then you can start to go out and get on other people's platforms. You can get on their podcasts, their lives. You can get them to write blogs about you and articles. You can get mainstream media, TV, radio, print, newspapers. And once you start to do that, that's how you attract your ideal clients. Like, that is one of the fastest way. Everybody right now is talking about how ads aren't working the way they used to. You're spending tens of thousands of dollars on ads and you're not getting your return on investment, right? A lot of people are talking about that. Well, the best way to use your time and your money is to get on other people's platforms. What podcasts out there are speaking to your demographic or speaking to your ideal clients? Reaching out to those podcast owners and trying to get on those podcasts. Who do you follow on social media that has, a strong following of your ideal customers? How can you partner with them to get on their platform, or to get them to do a post, or to get them to talk about you or to interview you? That's what I didn't know how to do. And because I didn't know how to do that, I was leaving so much money on the table. So I had to realize, look, it's not just about knowing who my ideal clients are and making more offers. I have to say the right things. I have to be able to speak in a way that really gets them to understand I can help them solve a problem. I can give them what it is they need or want. And it took me a long time to figure that out. But once I did, then I started attracting people. People were paying me to be on their podcast platforms. I started getting mainstream media. So I've been on national television and radio and in newspapers. And I'm not saying that I'm at this massive level. It's only started within the last few years, but I can see it. I'm getting traction. Not only that, every time I appear on somebody else's platform, whether it's mainstream media, a podcast, I go live with somebody does a blog post about me or mentions me, I get more and more followers. But not only that, people are reaching out to me. They're saying, "Hey, Coach Stone, I see that you're a business coach. What do you do? Can I have a call with you? What products or services do you sell? I bought your book. I bought your course on Champion You Academy. I registered to your monthly membership when I used to have my membership." So all of these things happen as a result of me getting on other people's platforms and knowing what to say. Because for so many of us, we want to be on these big platforms. So many of us want to be on TV and we want the radio appearance, or we want to be on one of the top blogs. But are you ready? When you get on there, are you ready? Do you know what you're going to say? Do you have your champion stories down? Do you know how to speak so that you can attract your ideal customers and clients? And for many of you, you may not be ready. So take some time to get clear about what it is that you offer, why you are different than everybody else, who your ideal customers and clients are, where they are on their journey, how you can help them get to that next level, and the process that you're going to help them, the steps that you're going to walk them through to help them get the results that they want. Think about all of those things. And when you put it all together and you package that up and you start getting out there on other people's platforms and talking about it on your own social media and your own platforms, you're going to notice a shift in the types of potential customers that you attract. You're going to start attracting your ideal customers, and it's going to be less of you chasing them and more of you attracting them. So you're not wasting time trying to speak to everybody. You're not wasting money, spending money on all of these ads and funnels that aren't working because you're not saying the right things. You're going to be clear about what it is that you do, who it is that you serve, and those champion stories and messaging that's really going to attract your ideal customers. So those are the 3 big mistakes that I made. And look, I'm not saying that I've mastered all of that. I'm getting better. But once I realized that and I clicked in and I really started to change up all of those things, that's when my business started to take off. That's when I started to attract more opportunities to speak on bigger platforms, to attract more of my ideal customers with less effort and less money. And I want the same for you. Like I know that you're a hero entrepreneur. I know that you're a champion entrepreneur. And I know that you have the ability to make more impact, income, and influence. It's just that you have to think about some of these things. Don't make the same mistakes that I have. And if you are making those mistakes, now is the time for you to change all of that. There's always an opportunity for you to learn, to share, and to grow. And this is your time. This is your time to take your business to the next level. People are waiting on your products and your services right now, but maybe they just don't know about you. Maybe you're not telling the right stories that resonate. Maybe you're speaking to the wrong people. So get clear about all of those things, and I know that you'll have a major shift in your business like I did. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or any comments about this episode, please send me a message on Instagram at I am Danny Stone. I love getting your messages. I get so many messages from people from all over the world, and I respond to every single one. And as always, make sure that you subscribe to the Grind and Gratitude Show podcast. We're on all platforms. And if you love this episode, share it with somebody else. Hey, sharing is caring. That's it for me. Thank you so much for being my co-host. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I hope this episode was valuable, and I hope that you had a few takeaways that you can implement into your business and your life right now. So that's it for me. Thanks so much. I will catch you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.